Hey everyone, so we're finally getting some information. It's taken a few days, and it is an after effect, an afterthought. The way the establishment media works in Canada is they just run with the bullshit tabloid style sensationalized headlines, right? That's what they do first to get the clickbait, to get the revenue, to get their ad revenue, or to propagate people with a particular political narrative. And then, of course, it's always after the fact that you'll get a little bit of clarity of thought, a little bit of clarity of mind, a little bit of clarity regarding that particular original story. And that's what we're seeing today. And as we're seeing the way things are unfolding, well, hello. I'm actually seeing a lot more questions than I'm seeing answers in regards to this whole Facebook, Cambridge Analytics, this pink-haired young leftard, libtard, looks like this progressive, this SJW, this PC warrior that was the original whistleblower in regards to the Cambridge Analytica story that we're all hearing about. I mean, just today there's 4 articles dealing with this particular political propagandist narrative. And this particular one out of CBC News under the politics section with a headline, Canadian at center of Facebook data scandal cut political teeth with Liberals. The Liberal Party insists it doesn't sell information under any circumstances. Well, why would it have to? If you're the political party, that's the place where you want to keep and retain that information. So a little bit of a political narrative already. We haven't even gotten below the headline yet. Jesus. But it's CBC, so what do you expect? Always doing damage control for the Liberals. The Canadian whistleblower at the center of an international scandal that allegedly helped the Trump campaign capitalize politically from private Facebook information got his start in politics with the Liberal Party of Canada. But several senior Liberal officials from that time, about a decade ago, insist they have almost no recollection of then teenager Christopher Weil, if any at all. Right? That sounds like legalese, right? Hey, I have no recollection. Typical political legalese. The New York Times and the Observer of London have reported U.S. presidential Donald Trump's 2026 campaign hired a data analytics company that harvested private information from the Facebook profiles of more than 50 million users. Cambridge Analytica, the company named by Wiley as being behind the massive leak, exploited private social media activity to help allow the Trump campaign to better target voters by profiling their behavior and personalities ahead of the U.S. election, according to the reports. The firm connected with Trump's political advisor, Steve Bannon, whom Wiley also met, the report said. Anyways, there's just about a 4-minute segment with video and audio embedded in this article that I'm going to share as well. And then on the other side, I'm going to share with you the response from Facebook in regards to these allegations.
The more you know about someone, the more you can align a campaign with their requirements or their wants and needs.
And Cambridge Analytica apparently knows a great deal. They say they combine standard data mining techniques with personality modeling, so-called psychographics.
Then we add a unique extra layer of data about personality, decision-making, and motivation.
So where did they get that kind of deep-level insight into people's inner lives? According to Christopher Wiley, a Canadian whistleblower who left the firm in 2014, it came from Facebook. Tens of millions of profiles. He claims almost all of them harvested without the owner's knowledge.
Our techniques are working across the globe, from local elections to the U.S. 2016 presidential race.
Conservative pro-Trump mega-donor Rebecca Mercer sits on Cambridge's board. Trump strategist Steve Bannon was also a board member. Facebook data may have helped Trump win the White House. Cambridge Analytica denies it's misused that data. Facebook says it's suspending the company and is conducting a review, but it only informed the public about this on Friday as Wiley came forward with his story. In a Canadian exclusive, I spoke with Wiley earlier today. Chris, this all sounds pretty complicated. How did it actually work?
what we did is we used applications that people would join. They would fill out psychological surveys, and then that app would then go and pull all of their Facebook data and relate how they answered the questions on the survey to their Facebook data. And from that, we were able to then make inferences or predictions about people who we haven't yet spoken to, but we have pulled their Facebook data. So it allowed us to profile upwards of 50 million Americans over the span of a couple months, and understand not only their personality traits, but how they think and how they would likely react to different kinds of information. And what is it exactly that we need to do in order to pick at certain mental or emotional vulnerabilities so that those people would behave in a particular way that was conducive to Steve Bannon's objective.
But you've known some of this for a long time. Why come forward now?
The difference for me is having watched 2016 roll out with Donald Trump's election, and then all of the rise of the alt-right. It really made me reflect on the impact that Cambridge Analytica has had, not just on the American political scene, but also around the world. And so I think that I reflected on it, and I think I said to myself, I need to speak out now, because I've seen the impact that this company has had, and I think people should know about how it works.
Are you afraid in any way right now?
Speaking out against one of the most powerful Republican billionaires, Robert Mercer, and Steve Bannon, and frankly the entire alt-right, is intimidating. Speaking out against social media giants like Facebook is intimidating, particularly when they retaliate. When I come forward as a whistleblower, that's intimidating. But I think that it's important for people to know what this company does, its impact on American elections and elections around the world, and also more broadly to hold social media companies like Facebook to account. I am accepting my share of responsibility in what happens with Cambridge Analytica, and I think that Facebook should also accept some share of responsibility as to what happened.
Chris, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So as you hear that little sniveling liar, because we're going to get to, like I said, there's a very good reason why I included this audio segment into this video. Because now we're going to go to a blog post from Facebook's Paul Graywall, Facebook's Vice President and Deputy General Counsel, in a blog post response to this whole fiasco. And the heading for that blog post is "Pursuing Forensic Audits to Investigate Cambridge Analytica Claims." Oh, actually, before I start into this blog post, I want to stress the importance in regards to a revelation from that 4-minute segment where the interviewer asked this young man about the fact that he's been part of Cambridge Analytica since 2014. And he's known about this since 2014. Why speak out now? And you heard his response. It was because it was used for pro-Trump politics. He didn't seem to have any problem or take any issues with using this kind of data mining. And he actually propagated and promoted this stuff when he was, working for the liberals. So it seems to be all about having a preferential for a certain particular political ideology. And if it's used for anything other than that particular political ideology, leftism, collectivism, social justice, warrior, politically correct, fucking bullshit collectivists, right? If it's used for anything outside of that, oh, now he's got a problem with it. Before that, no problem at all, right? Was totally on board, was employed, didn't have no problem, didn't take no issues with it then, but now he's got a problem. That tells you this man is not fucking principled in any way. He's playing politics. And he's using the leftist media to propagate his bullshit narrative. But like I said, we're going to fucking counter that right now with this blog post heading, pursuing forensic audits to investigate Cambridge Analytica claims. Update on March 19th, 2018, 3:25 p.m. Pacific Time. Independent forensic auditors from Stroh's Friedberg were on site at Cambridge Analytica's London office this evening. At the request of the UK Information Commissioner's Office, which has announced it is pursuing a warrant to conduct its own on-site investigation, the Stroh's Friedberg auditors stood down. Then it continues down a little further. Originally published March 19, 2018, 11:40 a.m. Pacific Time. We have hired a digital forensics firm, Stroh's Friedberg, to conduct a comprehensive audit of Cambridge Analytica. Cambridge Analytica has agreed to comply and afford the firm complete access to their servers and system. We have approached the other parties involved, Christopher Wiley and Alexandra Kogan, and asked them to submit to an audit as well. Mr. Kogan has given his verbal agreement to do so. Mr. Wiley thus far has declined. So apparently this young man, this whistleblower, the one that had loose lips and wants to fucking propagate this kind of political narrative that's going to affect a lot of people and is going to create a lot of investigations. It's going to, it's going to cost a lot of money to try to delve into this shit. But all of a sudden now he's all buttoned up, right? Now all of a sudden it's mum's the word. Now it's all of a sudden pleading the fifth. Well, what's up with that? Everyone else involved, Cambridge Analytica and this other gentleman, they're totally willing. It's like, okay, go ahead, yeah, we got nothing to hide. Well, what's going on with this fucking this little rat, this little whistleblower fuck, this little pink-haired fucking social justice warrior dipshit? What's your problem now? What? Why don't you want to cooperate? Oh, you scared you might incriminate yourself because, like I said, like I suggested already, this little dipshit, he'd be more than willing if the Liberals or the NDP or the fucking Democrats down in the U.S. or Corbyn's fucking Labour Party in the UK, he'd be more than willing to fucking, here, take as much data as you want. I'm cool with that. Matter of fact, yeah, that was my job, and I fucking loved it. I was all about, ooh, rah, look, ooh, people fucking power, oh yeah, communism, socialism, oh yeah, whatever fucking bullshit, right? He was all for it then. He's totally on board. Yeah, hey, let's dig into the minds of these fucking people, right? I'm all about fucking using political fucking manipulation when it's going to suit me or my gang or my tribe or my political parties. But all when it's used from someone else that I have opposition to, that has an ideology that I oppose, now all of a sudden, oh, I'm trying to virtue signal like a motherfucker. Like I say, these leftist dipshits, they don't give a fuck. They don't have any moral compass whatsoever, right? So this is, once again, just another clear example of, and the media's going along with it. Although at least in this particular article that I've referenced already, at least CBC has pointed out, right, that this young man started out, he dipped his toes in the political waters campaigning for the Liberal Party. Anyways, I'll tie this video up. I don't want to keep my videos going on too long, and I will end up making another subsequent video because there's a lot more to this, right? We got to really delve into this stuff, but I'm just giving you a heads up in this video to let you know that this is all playing politics, folks. So be wise, be wary, and be careful out there because you never know. And that's one thing I will say before I tie this up. I do not, and I never have, and I never will. When you get all these little things on Facebook where they're asked you like personal questions, or even like, do you like the color blue, or all these little questionnaires, don't fucking answer them. I never have, and I never will, because I already give enough fucking information to these social media platforms and the government already. Because that's another thing too, is it's not just the social media sites that are getting all your information. Hello, Edward Snowden, Glenn Greenwald from the Guardian. Remember the Snowden revelations? You know, the Five Eyes, how it's collected all. It's not just the social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Google that are accessing and using your data, all that information that you provide to them for free. The government is collecting all that too. The spy agencies from all the Five Eyes, Canada, the US, United Kingdom, New Zealand, and Australia, they're getting all that information too. And if you don't think that they're not using it against you, well, like I said, then you just haven't been paying attention to all the Snowden revelations. But see, that's been a while now. It's been a while since the Snowden revelations were reported on. So the media feels emboldened now that they can start a whole new narrative because they realize that most people are all, oh, they forgot about that already. Not as long as I'm around, because I'll help remind you all the time. Matter of fact, I'll post a couple links in the description of this video to some of those Snowden revelations so you can reacquaint yourself, so you can refresh your memory and just how deceptive, underhanded, sneaky, and invasive these central planners, these political propagandists, these pundits, and their media counterparts and their security establishment or spy networks, just how deceptive they truly are. These fucks are doing way worse than what Facebook, at least when you go onto Facebook, you've opted into that. You know, sure, you didn't read all through the disclaimer, probably. Most people don't. But you at least know that there was a disclaimer there, and you know that you had to voluntarily opt into Facebook or YouTube or Google, CSIS and all these other, like NSA in the US or any of these other spy agencies. You never opted into any of that shit. You never agreed for them to fucking have the ability to snoop through everything you do and invade your privacy, but they do it. But is this young man pointing any of that shit out? No, it doesn't seem to be saying anything about that. Maybe he's got short-term memory. Or once again, it's all about politics, folks. It's all about the upcoming 2019 elections, especially in Canada. They want, the liberals, the leftists, the collectivists, they want to create as many narratives as humanly possible that will scare the population into just thinking that they can't trust anybody, so we better fucking stick with the liberals. We better stick with them. We better stick with the power we know rather than some unknown, because they know how to play politics. If there's one thing the left knows how to do is play politics. They are fucking powerhouses when it comes to playing politics. What they lack in physical attributes and strength, they more than make up with the power of distorting the English language, using sophistry, doublespeak, legalese, and tricking you on an ongoing basis, and convincing you that black is white, up is down, and in is out. That is one thing that I've recognized and I acknowledge. I'll never deny. That's one thing leftists are really, really, really good at. And they seem to be more than willing to use that power in spades at this point, at this junction, if it means maintaining their political power, their political structure, their political narrative. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.